Okay, this last lesson now will focus on being able to write an equation for a parabola in vertex form if we know what the vertex is and we know what a point the graph passes through is. So I can see that my vertex is at -1, 4, and it passes through the point 2, 1. If we take a peek at the graph, that's what this would look like. Um, that means I can see that this has to be a parabola that opens down, and so I know that my a value is negative. The problem is I don't know my a value. So if we look at a standard equation, or the vertex standard equation for vertex form, um, it goes like this. Okay, so now let's sort of think about what we already know in that equation. We know the vertex, which means we know h, and we know k, and then we have a point that it passes through. So that means I know x, and I know y. The only thing I don't know in this equation then is a. And so I will take the information that I have and start plugging some things in. So I don't know a, but this is what I know my equation has to kind of look like. It'll go x minus -1, so x plus 1 squared, and then my k is 4. So if I had a, if I knew a, I would be able to plug a number in, and this would be my answer. But the problem is I don't know a. So I have to plug in some other information to be able to find a and go from there. Okay, so here we go. We're going to plug in everything we know. All right, I know that over here, y is 1. I don't know a. I know that x is 2. I know that h is -1, so I will have minus -1, which of course becomes plus 1. And I know that k is 4. And so I can use that to figure out how to solve for a. Okay, so I have 1 equals um, a times 2 plus 1, which is 3 squared, so a times 9. I will subtract 4, and I have -3 equals 9a. Divide by 9, and a is -3/9, which reduces to -1/3. So now, if we rewrite our equation with our vertex in there, what I know is that a is -1/3, and I know that my vertex was -1, so I'll do +1, and my y-coordinate on my vertex is 4. So this is what my equation should look like. We'll do one more for good measure. If you want to skip this one, you probably could, but we'll go ahead and do it anyways. Okay, so this is your h, this is your k, this is your x, this is your y. So if I look at the graph of this, what I know is that I have a vertex at 1, 2, and I know the graph has to pass through the point 3, 4, which tells me that this is a parabola that opens up. So if we plug things into this basic formula that we continue to use that's in vertex form, this is what it would look like. Y is 4, a I don't know, x is 3, h is 1, and k is 2. So I have 4 equals 3 minus 1 is 2, squared is 4. So really I have 4a plus 2. If I subtract 2, I have 2 equals 4a. Divide by 4, and a is 1/2. So now what this equation becomes is this: 1/2 times x minus 1 squared plus 2. Okay, so I just want to remind you that this coordinate over here you don't use in the final equation, but you do use it to help you solve for a. All right.